My name is Alina Rivera, and what I thought would be a normal night almost shattered me. After a long day on campus, I ordered an Uber, expecting nothing more than a quiet ride back home. But within minutes, the driver clicked the locks, met my eyes through the mirror, and said softly, "You're not safe at home." My chest clenched. Before I could even speak, he reached into the console, handed me a phone, and repeated, "Listen." That evening had begun so ordinarily. I was leaving the library after a late study session. It was close to midnight, and the campus streets were practically deserted. The autumn air was cold, and I remember pulling my jacket tighter as I opened the Uber app on my phone. A small flicker of unease crept in, the kind anyone feels when walking alone so late at night. Still, I reminded myself I'd done this dozens of times before. When the car arrived, I slid into the back seat, relieved to finally be inside. The driver appeared to be in his early 40s, quiet, a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. Nothing about him struck me as odd. Not yet. I glanced at my phone and quickly texted my mom, "Heading home now. Be there soon." She replied instantly with her usual message, "Okay, mija. Lock the door when you get in." That little ritual always gave me comfort. I smiled at her words, unaware that within minutes I'd be fighting to understand why she was the one in danger. The hum of the engine filled the silence as I watched familiar streets roll past. At first, I thought the driver was simply avoiding traffic. But something felt off. Leaning toward the window, I checked the street signs. He had missed the turn that led directly to my home. My heart gave a hard jolt. I tried to stay calm. Maybe he knows a shortcut, I told myself. Still, I opened my phone to check the map, and that's when I heard it. A faint, sharp click. Unmistakable. The child locks. My hand went to the door handle instinctively, but it wouldn't budge. Then his voice cut through the quiet, low and deliberate. "You're not safe at home." It was such a strange, chilling thing to hear that for a moment my mind froze. My chest tightened as panic surged through me. I forced myself to speak, though my voice shook. "What do you mean?" "Take me home right now." He didn't respond to my demand. Instead, he reached into the front console, pulled out a phone, and extended it toward me. His eyes in the rearview mirror were intense, almost urgent. "Listen," he said again. My hand trembled as I took the phone. I pressed it to my ear, expecting a stranger, a prank, something sinister, but what I heard sent ice down my spine. It was my mother's voice, frantic, desperate. "Please leave my daughter out of this. She doesn't know anything." I nearly dropped the phone. "Mom? Mom, what's going on?" My voice cracked. She wasn't speaking to me directly. She was talking to someone else. I could only catch fragments, pleading, bargaining, none of it making sense. "Why is she on this phone?" I demanded, my eyes darting to the driver's reflection. He didn't flinch. His voice was calm, almost cold. "You needed to know the truth. Going home tonight would have put you in danger." I couldn't let that happen. My grip tightened on the phone until my knuckles ached. I didn't understand. Who was this man? Why was he saying I wasn't safe in my own home? And why was my mom on the line, terrified? Fear clawed at me, but I forced myself to think. "What truth?" I asked steadily. "What are you talking about? What's happening to my mom?" There was a pause before his answer. "Your family isn't who you think they are." Tonight, the past caught up. I shook my head, confusion battling with terror. My mom was a nurse, one of the most selfless people I knew. She worked long hours, cared for strangers, came home exhausted but smiling. What past could he possibly mean? On the phone, her voice rose, breaking. She was begging now. "I'll do whatever you want. Just don't touch my daughter, please." Hearing her like that shattered me. I pressed the phone closer, my whole body trembling. "Mom, I'm here. I can hear you." The driver's eyes flicked up to meet mine in the mirror. "Stay calm. If you panic, if you try to run, you'll never see her again." His words hit like a punch. Every instinct screamed at me to grab the handle, yell, throw myself out of the car, anything. But something in his tone stopped me. There was no mockery, no cruelty. He sounded deadly serious, like someone who truly believed every word. I forced myself to breathe, my mind racing. If what he said was true, if there really was danger waiting for me at home, then jumping out of the car could be worse. And if my mom was already caught in the middle, I couldn't risk making things worse for her. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. What do you want from me? He shook his head. Not what I want. What you need to hear. The car kept moving, each turn taking us farther from the route I knew. Every block tightened the knot in my stomach. The phone in my hand felt like it weighed 100 pounds. My mother's muffled voice, thick with fear, wrapped around me like invisible chains. In that instant, I knew this wasn't a harmless mistake or a random threat. Something much larger was unfolding, something I couldn't yet grasp. And somehow, I was right in the center of it. Trapped in the back seat of a stranger's car, my mother's fear echoing through the phone line, I made a choice. I would keep silent. I would listen. I would uncover the truth before it was too late. My hands shook as I pressed the phone harder to my ear. Her voice cut in and out through static, but the desperation behind it was unmistakable. She was terrified, and that alone sent me spiraling. I wanted to shout at the driver, demand he stop the car, let me out, explain what was happening. But instead, I swallowed my panic and forced myself to focus. If my mother was in danger, then every move I made mattered. Leaning forward, my voice trembled but still demanded answers. Who are you? What's happening with my mom? Why did you say I'm not safe at home? In the rearview mirror, his eyes met mine, calm, steady and unflinching. My name is Victor, he said, his tone firm but not harsh. Your mother hasn't told you the truth about her past. That's why this is happening tonight. If you go home now, they'll be waiting. You'll walk right into it, and there'll be no way out. His words hit me like a crashing wave. My mother? Hiding something? She was the most honest, hard-working person I knew. Coming home exhausted from caring for patients, yet still finding a smile for me. What secret could she possibly have that would bring strangers like this to our doorstep? My chest tightened with anger. You expect me to believe you? You locked me in your car. For all I know, you're the danger. Victor's jaw flexed as his hands tightened on the wheel. If I meant you harm, I already would have. I'm not your enemy, Alina. Right now, I'm the one keeping you alive. The certainty in his voice shook me more than his words. I wanted to reject it, to believe this was just a terrible misunderstanding, but deep down, I sensed something was horribly wrong. The line crackled again. My mother's voice came through. Alina, listen to him. Please don't fight. Just do what he says. Hearing her side with him twisted my stomach. She sounded broken, afraid in a way I had never heard before. I pressed a hand against my chest, trying to steady my racing heart. Mom, what are you talking about? What is happening? Before she could answer, the line went dead. Silence filled my ears, heavy, suffocating. I stared at the dark phone screen, my reflection wide-eyed and frantic. Give it back, Victor said firmly, holding out his hand for the phone. No, I snapped, clutching it closer. Not until you tell me exactly what's going on. Who is she talking to? Why is my mother terrified? What do you mean about her past? Victor's expression hardened. For a moment, he said nothing. The tension in the car grew unbearable, the silence louder than any words. Finally, he spoke, each word slow, deliberate. Years ago, your mother stood against someone powerful. She thought it was over. She believed you were safe. But that man is free now. And tonight, he made his move. That's why you can't go home. That's why you're here. My stomach dropped. His words didn't sound like a story meant to scare me. They carried weight. Truths my mother had buried and prayed I'd never uncover. If this was real, my entire life had been built on a lie. The car swerved onto a narrow street I didn't recognize. My hands clenched the seatbelt as my breathing sped up. Every instinct screamed at me to run, fight, do anything other than sit helpless in the back seat of this stranger's car. But another part of me, the part that had heard my mother's voice begging me to listen, knew I had to hold back. I stared at the mirror again, forcing my voice steady. So what now? I just sit here and trust a stranger while my mom's out there with someone who wants to hurt her. Victor's eyes narrowed. You don't have to trust me. You just have to trust that I know more than you. If you want to save her, if you want to survive, You need to stay calm and do exactly what I say. This isn't just about you anymore. It's about your family. It's about what your mother sacrificed everything to protect you from. The phrase save her echoed in my head. I wasn't just a passenger in this nightmare anymore. I couldn't afford to freeze or panic. My mother needed me. Whatever she'd done, whatever she'd hidden, she was still the woman who worked herself to the bone to keep food on our table and love in our home. I wasn't going to let her face this alone. I drew in a shaky breath, every nerve in my body on edge. Fine, I'll listen. But if you're lying to me, if you're the reason my mom's in danger, I'll find out. And I won't forgive you. For the first time that night, Victor's expression softened slightly, though his eyes stayed sharp. That's the spirit you're going to need. Hold on to it. The car surged forward, city lights blurring past the window. My fear hadn't vanished, but something inside me shifted. I wasn't just terrified anymore. I was angry, determined, ready to face whatever truth waited for me, no matter how much it shattered the world I thought I knew. And with that choice, everything about this night and my life began to change. Streetlights flickered by in streaks of yellow and white as Victor drove deeper into unfamiliar roads. My grip on the seat tightened, the knot in my stomach heavy. Every nerve told me something big was about to happen, something I couldn't control. The phone sat dark and useless in my lap. My mother's last words echoed in my head. Listen to him, Alina. Please. They made no sense, but they carried weight. My mother would never side with a stranger unless the danger was real. Still, doubt gnawed at me. What if this was an elaborate trap? Victor's voice cut through the silence. They're already watching your house. By now they know you're not there. They'll try to flush you out another way. We have to move fast. Before I could respond, headlights flared bright in the rearview mirror. A car had pulled up close behind us. Too close. My pulse spiked. Without warning, he slammed the gas pedal and the car shot forward. The tires shrieked as we barreled down the narrow street. My body was pinned against the seat, my heart pounding so hard it rattled my ribs. I twisted around, peering out the back window. Whoever was chasing us mirrored every move, every swerve. They weren't letting us slip away. Who are they? I yelled over the roar of the engine. The man your mother stood up against, Victor replied, his voice unervingly calm. He's got people, dangerous people. If they get to you, it's over. The road funneled into an industrial district, the air thick with oil and dust. My palms were slick, and every instinct screamed at me to escape, but there was nowhere to run. All I could do was clutch the seatbelt and pray Victor had a plan. The car behind us closed the gap, its headlights blazing into our cabin. Then it slammed into us, the impact jerking me forward. I cried out, clutching the seat in front of me. They're going to kill us. Not if I can stop it, Victor growled. He yanked the wheel hard, veering us down another street. Our tires screamed, but the pursuers stuck tight, their engine roaring. In the chaos, my phone buzzed in my hand. My mother's voice came through, faint but urgent. Alina, listen to me. Years ago, I testified against a man named Delgado. He swore he'd destroy me, but I thought prison would keep us safe. I never wanted you to know, but he's free now. And he's hunting both of us. Her words cut through me like a blade. Victor had been right all along. My mother had carried this secret for years, shielding me. And now, because of it, I was trapped in this nightmare. The pursuing car rammed us again, harder, tires skidding beneath us. I screamed as Victor fought to steady the wheel, his knuckles bone white with tension. We can't outrun them forever, he muttered. We end this now. I turned to him, disbelief and fear colliding. And this? How? It's just us against them. His eyes met mine in the rearview. Not us. 3. Your mother knew this day would come. That's why she called me. Before I could ask what he meant, Victor cut the wheel, pulling us into a deserted lot. The other cars swerved in right after us, headlights glaring. My chest tightened, every beat threatening to explode. Victor stopped, ripped open the glove box, and pulled out a gun. The metallic click echoed in the cabin. He tossed me a small can of pepper spray. If they get close, use it. Straight to the eyes. Don't hesitate. I stared at the can in my trembling hands. I had never held anything like it, but in that moment, choice vanished. It was survival. The other car screeched to a halt. Two men jumped out, their faces hardened by shadow. One shouted, "Bring her out, Victor." Delgado wants the girl alive. Ice spread through my veins. They wanted me. Victor stepped out, gun raised, voice steady. If Delgado wants her, he'll have to come himself. The men advanced. Instinct surged through me. I cracked the window and sprayed one in the face. He screamed, stumbling back as he clutched his eyes. Victor fired a warning shot into the air, the crack echoing through the lot. Everything froze. The men hesitated. Then, dragging the blinded one, they retreated to their car. Tires screeched as they sped into the night. Silence settled. My chest heaved as I collapsed against the seat, hands trembling so badly I could barely grip the spray. Victor climbed back in, calm but firm. "You did good. You stayed strong." Tears blurred my vision. They were going to take me. He nodded. "And they'll try again. But tonight, you proved you're not helpless." We drove away, the night eerily quiet compared to the chaos. My heart still hammered, but outside, the city rolled by in a strange calm. My mother's desperate voice, the gun in Victor's hand, the rage in our pursuer's eyes, they replayed in my mind endlessly. For 20 minutes, neither of us spoke. My knuckles ached from gripping the spray. Finally, Victor broke the silence. "We can't go back to your house. It's compromised. They'll be waiting. I'm taking you somewhere safe." I didn't argue I couldn't. Exhaustion and fear consumed me. All I managed was, "Where's my mom? Is she safe?" His grip on the wheel tightened. "She's secure. That's where we're headed. She'll be there." Relief clashed with terror inside me. Relief I'd see her. Terror for what she'd endured. We pulled into a gated building, quiet and unassuming. Victor finally turned to me, his hard expression softening. "You're stronger than you realize, Alina. But this isn't over." His words echoed as he led me inside. Each step felt heavy, like sinking deeper into a truth I wasn't ready to face. And then, in the dim light, I saw her. "Mom." The word ripped from my throat. Rosa's eyes were red from tears as she caught me in her arms. The embrace was fierce, desperate, packed with everything words couldn't say. Tears streamed as I clung to her, breathing in her familiar scent, feeling her body tremble against mine. "I'm so sorry, Mija," she whispered. "I should have told you long ago. I thought hiding it would protect you, but the past always finds us." I pulled back, searching her face. "What did you do, Mom? Why is this happening?" Her hands cupped my cheeks, her eyes heavy with pain. "When you were little, I testified against Delgado. Drugs, violence, corruption, he ran it all. I saw something that tied him to a crime, and I couldn't stay silent. I thought prison would end it, but I was wrong. Now he's free and he wants revenge." Her words pressed down like a weight. I'd always thought of my mother's strength as working shifts, paying bills, holding us together. But now I saw a deeper strength. She had stood against a monster, alone, just to protect me. I wanted to be angry at her secrecy, but when I looked at her tear-streaked face, all I felt was love. She had carried that burden to give me a normal life. How could I hate her for that? I hugged her tighter. "You don't have to protect me alone anymore. I'm not a kid. If he's coming, then we fight together." Victor's voice cut in from behind us, firm and unyielding. "And you won't fight alone. Delgado isn't untouchable. Not anymore. But you need to be ready." This was only the beginning. The words sank deep. Life would never return to what it was. Home wasn't just safety anymore. My mother wasn't just a nurse. We were part of something bigger, darker. And yet, I felt stronger for knowing the truth. That night taught me safety isn't about locked doors. It's about the people willing to stand beside you when the shadows close in. My mother had kept me in the light for years. Now, it was my turn to stand with her in the dark. As I held her hand, one thing became crystal clear. We weren't running anymore. We were surviving. And soon we'd be fighting back.